no matter what happens with the Wyatt Sicks. 1 month in, the legacy of Bray Wyatt has been honored through the hottest start to a spooky stable in WWE history. Seriously, WWE has had so many disaster horror gimmicks that if the Wyatt Sicks hold on for another couple of months, they'll be well on their way to being one of the greatest supernatural stables of all time.
Wow.
Better than the Dungeon of Doom? Better than the Ministry of Darkness. The Wyatt Sicks are bucking the trend of horror gimmicks in wrestling, which has a long history of creating unintentional comedy through an attempt at scaring people. Remember Oz? Remember the Boogey Man? Or Mordecai? Or Papa Shango? The Wyatt Sicks on paper were supposed to go down that same drain, but because Vince isn't around and WWE is motivated by doing right by a legend, in hindsight, this gimmick had no choice but to pop off. Today, we're gonna talk about how WWE was, in fact, able to do right by Bray Wyatt using the same tactics that actually backfired on Bray and complicated an otherwise Hall of Fame legacy. Subscribe in Swahili. Fans lose their when the Wyatt Sicks come around. Like The Undertaker, fans are more than willing to go along with the act no matter how much they have to suspend their disbelief, because they believe in it. In the Wyatt Sicks, homeless-looking wrestlers haven't been this over since Will Ospreay in AEW. Every member of the Wyatt Sicks looks like David Bixenspan if he wore a mask to make himself look more handsome. Hold up. Every member of the Wyatt Sicks looks like David Bix before his biennial shower. Hold up. Let me cook. Every member of the Wyatt Sicks looks like the type of group chat Bix would join, but then they'd have their own group chat to talk about what a weirdo Bix is. WWE's production value came through because all the characters are shot as silhouettes, and that makes them even scarier because of how little you get to see them. I still don't know what Huskus, Sister Abigail, the Ramblin' Rabbit, Mercy the Buzzard, or new Uncle Howdy looks like in full light, and it scares the hell out of me. Because so far, WWE is protecting this gimmick the way Bix protects his tweets. Because imagine firing off 300,000 tweets only to hire a Twitter locksmith for safe hiding because you don't want the smoke. Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse was anchored by the schizophrenic stylings of happy-go-lucky children's TV host Bray Wyatt and a terrifying fiend. The gimmick was a creative force of nature, and it was loved at around third sight, with the repackaged Bray Wyatt stealing the show at SummerSlam 2019. After years of start and stop booking, WWE finally found its new Undertaker and its new face of fear. But just like the Bray Wyatt incarnations before him, a promising start flamed out violently. The last time we saw The Fiend was an absolute disaster of a WrestleMania 37 loss against Randy Orton. The payoff was just as terrible as the build-up, with Alexa Bliss covered in so much dark blood I thought I was watching Invincible. Vince never all the way got Bray Wyatt and was never in touch as to what makes great horror cinema. So in hindsight, The Fiend had no choice but to fail. To me, the saddest part about Bray's passing, from strictly a wrestling standpoint, is it happened before he really got the chance to redeem himself, without being sabotaged by the notoriously impatient Vince McMahon. WWE is doing long-term storytelling better than it ever has. Bray Wyatt would have been one of many beneficiaries of this, if not the biggest beneficiary. But thankfully, Wyatt's brother and the Wyatt Sicks are the best horror movie going in the cinematic era. The Wyatt Sicks is essentially the same thing as a Firefly Funhouse. If you look closely, it's even shot inside a dark and abandoned funhouse. Much like Bray in the Firefly Funhouse, Bo Dallas is playing a schizophrenic personality, but this time in a therapy session. Instead of being joined by puppets and various characters in a zany kids television show, Bo Dallas is joined only by himself in the form of Uncle Howdy, similar to Bray Wyatt's transformation as The Fiend. Abby the Witch and the gang are still around, but instead of being puppets, they're actual horror villains. And in order to get you to suspend your disbelief, WWE is waiting as long as it can before they start to wrestle. Because what you don't see will scare you more than what you do see. WWE is giving you the Wyatt Sicks in bits and pieces. That's why Badman Bo Dallas got such a huge pop when they finally showed him IRL, sitting in Pierce's office like, "What's up?" The Wyatt Sicks is a psychological thriller, one that's diving into the psyche of a grieving man traumatized by the loss of a loved one. The gimmick is also being used as a device to intertwine with different angles. Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy's inevitable breakup will be directly linked to Gable's current feud with the Wyatt Sicks. and Bo Dallas may or may not be cutting promos on the Bloodline. More particularly, Jey Uso, who has coincidentally appeared in every segment the Wyatt Sicks have appeared in, but Jey ain't no white person in a horror movie because the second he saw them Wyatt Gimps, he said deuces. WWE has excelled in storytelling when it comes to stables. The Bloodline might be the best story WWE ever told. The Alpha Academy is red hot, and every time they teased Otis leaving the group, fans melted. The Judgment Day with Liv Morgan is the hottest thing in WWE, and the numbers don't lie. What do you think will happen now that Mommy's back? Horror gimmicks typically don't survive in WWE, but given the job WWE has done booking gimmicks of all kinds and how critical it is that this group succeeds in honor of Bray, the Wyatt Sicks will be the exception that proves the rule. Check out this video about Dave Meltzer's fuckery and subscribe in Swahili. OMG, did you take the Wyatt Sicks personality test? Who would you be as a Wyatt Sicks? I'm totally a rambling rabbit because my mind be racing and shit. What about you? Tell me in the comments!